Who is really fueling the opioid epidemic and who is paying the price? This book will astonish and shock you. So please beware, it's not for the fragile or weak-minded. If you are a doctor, patient, healthcare worker, government, insurance company, licensor, or virtually anyone in the general public, you need to read this. Don't be the next prey. Because these are real facts, all names have been changed to protect the innocent, the guilty, patients, doctors, clinics, healthcare workers, witnesses, and hospitals alike. Any names that may match an actual person in the actual capacity are sheer coincidences. These are true accounts depicted in this book from years of watching, eyewitness divulge, patient stories, observation, surveillance, an array of truth that has never seen the light of day publicly. You won't see these facts on the news, and you won't read about them in the newspaper. Author Ruby Starr has sole rights and ownership of them. These facts have never been told to the public until now. People would kill to keep these facts secret, hidden from the public's view. But the public needs to know, because patients are being preyed upon. And the people responsible should not be allowed to remain invisible any longer. This book shines a light on the invisible. Excerpt from the book. This true account will enlighten you, maybe scare you, possibly terrify you, make you reassess who you can trust. But if you want to know the truth of this opioid epidemic, as the media calls it, you must read on, because every patient must protect and arm themselves with the knowledge to be shielded from those who want to prey upon them. Yes, you read me right, prey. And every doctor, nurse, hospital, clinic, and practitioner alike must educate themselves so as not to be naive in the face of what I call the game. It's up to every one of us to be vigilant and question what is going on around us. And the game is about to be completely clarified for you, or at least one variation of it. So be prepared to be astonished, unable to believe, and shocked as the facts unravel themselves, revealing for the first time something you would never believe could be happening. The book, Who is Really Fueling the Opioid Epidemic and Who is Paying the Price, will expose who is really at fault for the opioid epidemic, with facts never revealed until now. Be first to know what the media, public, and government doesn't. You will also learn how the patient is abused just to be treated for their condition. It is abuse of power. To buy your own copy of this book, send check or money order for $29.95 plus $4 shipping to K. Willie Publishing, P.O. Box 642, Newton, Kansas 67114. You've all heard. It's everywhere. The radio, newspaper, television, online news, social media, and through word of mouth. There's an opioid epidemic going on. Some powerful force no one has seen coming. But is the problem being blamed on the right people? What you haven't heard yet is the truth. Patients who need opiates to live a life worth living shouldn't be consistently on the chopping block. They are the least to blame. In this book, you'll find out why they are the least to blame, and why that they are just victims, constantly fighting off abusive behavior and being forced into submission to take it, or they don't get treated. Excerpt. The media plasters the television news and special reports telling us over and over something needs to be done because people are dying, because children are being put in the position of saving their overdosing parents with a counteractive drug preventing them from dying, and because these counteractive drugs are being handed out by the handfuls. They are dying for some supposedly unforeseen reason, and it could have been stopped, could have been prevented. Everyone is getting blamed for this epidemic, everyone. But who really is to blame? Is it really a compilation of all the blames, or is it bigger than that? A blame no one has seen coming, a blame that is rarely talked about, if ever rarely noticed. Because you would never believe the people fueling this epidemic are who they are. Does the media State, national governments, insurance companies, or general public have the blame, right? You won't believe what's going on right in front of you. Although it's illegal, it's happening every day. We are all at risk. But if you really want to know who the real culprits are who are fueling this epidemic, you have to read who is really fueling the opioid epidemic and who is paying the price. The government and the insurance companies and the media want to blame the patients. They want to put stricter rules and consequences on doctors and them. But will that solve the problem? No. It looks good at face value, and many bureaucratic agencies will make a lot of money off this step. But it lacks substance. Ask yourself, have the rules thus far solved the problem? No. They have made it worse because the wrong people are being targeted, and then they're being streamlined to pay the price. The book, Who is Really Fueling the Opioid Epidemic and Who is Paying the Price, will tell the truth. Do you want to know? Do you want to know the real truth? Never before have these facts been told, or have they seen a public stage until now. These are actual events, real circumstances, and a bird's eye view into what the real problems are and who is fueling this epidemic. The truth truly will leave you breathless, astonished, surprised, and shocked. But please beware, this book of truths is not for the weak-minded. In this book, you will learn about who the patient is, what they have to go through just to be treated for their conditions, and most of all, who the real culprits are that are fueling and growing the opioid epidemic. This is what you're not being told. This is what you don't know. Patients who need opiates for their condition are treated as if they have no rights, not even human rights. They're discriminated against, they're bullied, they're pushed around, they're treated as lab rats in some cruel experiment. They're at the mercy of what the doctor wants to do, who is supposedly at the mercy of the government, and they make the patient participate in expensive, risky tests by holding their medications they need to live hostage until they comply. Yes, there are many things you do not know. Excerpt from the book. Now, Sarah's really confused as to what's going on. Supposedly, the scripts that had to be written at the doctor's office because of the wrong name were destroyed. But now Sarah is thinking they were actually used somehow. Otherwise, how could the tracking system for these type of meds say that she had already filled? The main blame for this epidemic is being placed on the patients. Why? Because it's easy. People think they're there, they're getting a prescription, they have a prescription, they have, they go out in the public, so they must be the ones distributing this product, these opiates, to the public. But they're not. The wrong people are being targeted. And who it really is to blame? Is it really a compilation of all the blames, or is it bigger than that? A blame no one has seen coming. You can order your own copy of Who is Really Fueling the Opioid Epidemic and Who is Paying the Price, and you can know what the truth is and why the epidemic keeps growing, even though new laws and rules and stipulations aimed at the patient become more abundant and more restraining. The book is not yet available in stores, so be the first to know before official channels even do. Send check or money order for $29.95 plus $4 shipping to K. Willie Publishing, P.O. Box 642, Newton, Kansas 67114. Patients aren't the root of the problem, as the media and government would have you think. Don't feed into the propaganda. Know what's going on. Know with facts. Propaganda is perpetuated to get society's attention because who is to blame is not being addressed at all. That's why the problem keeps growing and growing and growing. Even though new laws, get put on the patient, new rules, new hoops they have to jump through. Yet the problem grows and grows. Most patients have to beg just to get treated for their conditions, while the real culprits who are fueling this epidemic get a free pass to move unrestricted, avoiding punishment with no threat of it in sight. But the facts in this book, who is really fueling the opioid epidemic and who is paying the price, these facts will tell you what the truth really is. The targeting is wrong. Now, is this on purpose or just because the lawmakers don't know? They don't understand who's fueling it. They don't know where the root of the problem begins. Just what is it? Or is it just plain discrimination against patients? The bottom line is, every single one of us needs to know what these facts are. We need to know them to protect our families, to protect our loved ones, and to protect ourselves. Because this lack of knowing what the truth is can and will hurt you. It will and can hurt everyone in society. The facts need to be on the table. And currently, our laws and who's getting blamed, the facts are not on the table. As a matter of fact, our government just gave states a total of $53 million to fight the opioid epidemic, the same way they've been fighting it all along. So, if you're fighting against the opioid epidemic and you have the wrong people targeted, what is that doing for you? It's allowing the problem to grow and grow and grow. And no matter how much funding that states get, the problem will continue to grow and grow and grow until we see, through facts, who the real culprits are of this opioid epidemic. If you have questions, you can email kwillie Publishing at willie197392@gmail.com to purchase a copy of the book, Who is Really Fueling the Opioid Epidemic and Who is Paying the Price. Send check or money order for $29.95 plus $4 shipping to the address below. Don't wonder what's going on in our country right now with the opioid epidemic. Don't think you know. Read the facts and know what the facts are, and know how wrong it is for our government to give states a bunch of money to target the people in the opioid epidemic when they are blaming and targeting the wrong people. Know the facts.